So uncivilized.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Uncivilized Scoundrels. I am your host, Mario, aka El Profesor, aka Darth Profi. You know, my friends call me Profi, El Profi sometimes. Yeah, we're back, guys. It's been like a long minute since we actually done a show, especially on this channel here. So, and I know we've been taking a little while behind the scenes, getting the show started real quick, but appreciate everyone's patience. But yeah, let's go through the list of scoundrels. Everybody here on the panel tonight. First and foremost, we got Lady CC herself, CC3PO. How you doing tonight? It's been a minute. Hope your Christmas was well, and hope you're doing well.
I think you muted.
Sam. Yep. See, this is what happens when we don't do a show in weeks. I just forget
Rusty.
how all of this works. Very rusty. Very rusty. But happy to be here and talk Star Wars. And I hope everyone else had an excellent holiday too.
Yeah, you gotta check out them kinks. You know, let's loosen up a little bit. We got a lot to talk about. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a crazy show today. Next up, Rrr from Positive Fandom. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. It's always a great night being here talking Star Wars with this panel. And you're right, there is a lot to talk about. Just glad to be here enjoying this holiday season, guys. I'm really enjoying myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Holidays just went by fast, man. I mean, we're creeping up on 2023, and the days just seem to go by faster and faster, man. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Rita, you didn't see that? I showed Mario. This is one of the Christmas cards I got.
Oh, I love it.
Very cool.
From the, I got 2 Christmas cards from the RS Crew.
Ooh, look at that.
Wow.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Prop masters. Nice. CC flexing here. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Vinny, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Trying to fight this cold, so if you see me like sprinkle blank, it's just because I went to go blow my nose or something. But it's just a dumb head cold. I'll be over it soon, hopefully. Other than that, I had a fantastic Christmas. Hopefully you guys did too. Lots of good times with the family. Just good times. Nice little mini break from work season, so I'm enjoying that too. Getting a lot of art done and getting a lot of family and friend time in, and just reading and catching them up on all those shows and different things throughout the year. I'm always too busy for it. This is where I get to catch up and just kind of like decompress. So good time of the year.
Absolutely, man. Well, glad to see you here, man. I feel like
glad
I said,
to be here,
definitely
man.
Been a minute, man. So
yeah, man. We're you know, it's been a while, so I'm looking forward to talking Star Wars with all you fine people.
Last but not least, we got our guy LR. Lil Rockwell's in the house. Lil, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm excited to be here, bro. It's rounding out the week. We're looking forward to like a new year, man. New year, new possibilities, bro. Letting go with the past, embracing the future, man. I'm excited about it, bro. Can't wait. 2022 was trivial and not in a bad way. It was just like really divisive, but it is. It's always it's a learning curve. It brought some really, really good things, and hopefully we'll get the same or we'll get even better in 2023, man. So I'm super excited about that, bro.
Hey, man, one of the high points 2022, man, getting to meet most everybody here, man. For celebration, minus Vinny. I mean, that would have made 2022 complete. But, it's all good though, man.
I met you in person. I met, in person, definitely. CC was like maybe about 5 or 10 minutes. But I mean, if that counts, I mean, I'm talking about, and that's like 5 or 10 minutes spread out over a few days. So, yeah, I mean,
let's go CC.
Yeah, bro.
There you go. Yeah, there's a handshake, maybe a fist bump that was involved. Yeah, fist bump. I count that. And
then she's like, peace out.
Yep. She's like, hey, good to see you. I'm out.
And then peace.
Look at her. She's
I
like,
hugged you during a pandemic. I love how you take that for granted. But okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, we already pissed off CC, man. It's gonna be one of those shows tonight.
Right.
Anyways, let me check in and see who's in the chat tonight. We got the wonderful, the talented Ren Salentino's in the house. Good evening, everyone.
man,
Hit
Rens.
that like button, definitely, please, everyone. Hit that like button for us, man. And leave a subscription on your way out, man. Some guys in the house. What's going on, man? Some guy, how you doing? The collectors in the house. My man, Tobar, Uncle Keith. It's always great to see Uncle Keith in here. Good evening, everyone. Rans, good afternoon.
Definitely.
What else we got here? OG Mando's in the house. What's up, man? OG Mando, my Hot Toys news source, man. He's my man be spreading them sources, those little leaks here and there, but it's all good. AJ Cruz is in the house. Hello, hope everyone is well. Here's to a fantastic 2023 in the world of Star Wars. Definitely, man. Oh my gosh, next week or next year is gonna be incredible, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Mando season 3 is coming out, but along with Ahsoka, we're gonna talk about that. There's a lot. There's oh my god, it's crazy.
It's a lot to embrace, bro. Straight up.
Eric Hanke's in the house. What's going on, man? More Star Wars hot toy. You guys want to talk collectibles tonight? I mean, we already got a full plate, you know, with all the news, with all the and all that. But if we got time, we gotta
get Vinny prepared to be his first Hot Toys jumping off this year, hopefully with that Star Wars Luke. So
Yeah, it might.
Hey, and CC's first
Might be 24
Hot
by the
Toys
time
coming
it
in
gets
too,
there.
man. With that Vader.
she's getting a Vader. Okay,
she
that's
got that
good.
Vader, man.
All right, cool.
She
That's
got
cool.
that Vader.
We can talk about that.
Did-
Once you
look
get
at
one,
Vinny
you can't
with
go
the
back.
chat.
You can't. It's like a tattoo. Once you get one, you get that itch. You get that itch.
We'll see. We'll see, man. Man, what's in the house? What's going on, man? Prime Time Reviews is here. What's up? Andrew Giebo's in the house. Hey, what's going on, man? Who else do we got? Steve, my dude, Casual Nerd Problems. What's up, Steve? Hey, man, I saw you earlier looking into a statue collector, looking into the Hot Toys Mandalorian, the new shiny one that just came out. It's on his radar, man. I see you, Steve. Good to see you here, bro. Oh, good to see you here, man. Feezy's Figures in the house. What's up, man? What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. What else we got? We got Toy Box in the house. Thanksgiving was only last week. Seems like it, right?
Yep.
That is so crazy. Hey, Big Dog Pounds in the house, my man. I got, you know what? Hang on a second. Let me do something. Let me switch brands real quick because I got to play this for my dude. Big Dog Pound, that's for you, my guy. Love you, brother. Always great to see you, man. Calvin, what's up, brother? Good evening, y'all. Good evening, Calvin. Good evening, man. Hey, man, if you want to come through, let me know. Let me know. We'll shoot you a link, dude. We'll shoot you a link if you want to come through, man. Mark Peace in the house. What's going on, Mark? Yeah, we got Calvin's a streamer now, man. How cool
Mark
is
with the
that?
existential question.
Right.
What is everyone?
What is everyone?
What is everyone?
Come on, man. King Dinglin's in the house. What's up, King? Good to see you, man. And yeah, that's pretty much Big Dog Pound. Yeah. What about your Christmas? Yeah, guys.
When you don't hear King Dingling's name in a long time, you just say it out of nowhere. It's just like, oh fuck, I forgot about that.
What does PG always say? The stream is not a stream without King Dingling.
Yeah, that's right.
What's up,
Bars.
King?
Bars.
That's right, guys. Let's go ahead and get into this. So first thing on the list, Bad Batch is coming out next week.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta catch up.
Yeah, came here a lot sooner. You know, I mean, hold on, let me see this real quick. And I don't think catch up, Vinny, catch up. You know, I mean, it's really like all you really got to, in my opinion, just watch the first 2 episodes and the last 3 episodes or 2 episodes, and then you'll be good, man.
Yeah,
a lot of it was kind of like, but I really love the idea of the timeline where it's at, just after the events of the end of the Clone Wars, and then what's happening from the transition from the clones to the Empire. So and we got 16 episodes of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna start off.
How many was the last season? Was it only like 8 or something like that?
Oh, it was a lot.
I think it was like 10. Was it
10?
that many?
I don't remember.
Hold on. Let's check.
Well, and are these
Give me it.
Are these just like Clone Wars and they're like 30-minute episodes? I say that because I haven't even started this, but my mom, like, not only did she finally catch up on Andor, but she also watched this and Tales of the Jedi, which I have not watched. So my mother is now ahead of me
Oh, okay.
No kidding, really?
in the canon. I know. She
You
wants
haven't
to
watched Tales of the Jedi yet?
but I'm not. Yeah, she wants to talk about it, but I'm not caught up. So I'm like, sorry.
Okay.
No, there was like 16.
She's visiting in
episodes of the
February,
first
so
Okay.
maybe
That's
we'll sit
just-
down and binge watch.
Yeah. There were 16 in the
It's-
first season too. For some reason, I thought there were
Gotcha.
less.
Yeah, it felt like it might have been less, but no. I guess you're right.
Yeah. So we got 2 episodes coming out next week on January 4th. and then all the way through March 29th. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. I wouldn't mind showing a trailer, but Vinny's here. He needs to catch up.
No, you go ahead.
I'm just messing, bro. I'm just messing, bro. But yeah, like I said, I'm really intrigued with the era that it takes place in. And from what I understand, it's just going to take place like I think like about a year or less, or around that time frame, like right after the last one just picked off. So it's going to be interesting where the squad picks up at, from the last one. But yeah, I'm in. Like I said, I'm intrigued, not insanely excited to see it. Just because of what happened last time. Given the last season, but what you guys? Anyone else excited to see this?
I am. I like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was just the finding out what happened directly with the clones after Order 66, and also finding out what happened to Camino, how the clone facility was, did she dip out?
Yeah,
She's lagging,
she's lagging. So
like how basically finding out what happened with the cloning facility, and how they dispersed the whole project. Again, Empire cutting costs, so something has to go. You know what I mean? So they just in a sense laid off the program. You know what I mean? And just I love just finding out about that. Also, just the strife between brothers. Again, we have distinction with those who feel as though the rules that need to be actually followed. So again, I just love that aspect of it, to see that we have like a rogue squadron of clones that are unique in their own selves and their own right. And just to see where it goes this season, I just want to. I thoroughly, definitely enjoyed it. And plus, Fennec was in it. Come on, man. Fennec was in that.
Was she? Oh, that's right. Yeah,
definitely. Fennec was in it. And we had her. We had Cad Bane in it as well. So I mean, definitely, I enjoyed it, man. Loved it.
And then again, Vinny hasn't seen it yet, and
I've seen the first.
Spoilers. Sorry about that.
No, I'm good. Seen the first 6 episodes, and I just it was a tough watch, so I figured I'd just binge it before the second season came out. I just wasn't. It just didn't grab me, which is ironic because when they were in Clone Wars, I was like, they need their own show. But I felt that they were just so much better in Clone Wars, so much more, badass and fun to watch. And I feel like when they got their own show, it was like the old trope of, instead of give them a bigger challenge, make them more, incompetent. And it just was really annoying personally, like watching them like mess up and fumble around and not be as badass as they were on the Clone Wars to advance the story, as opposed to making their challenges tougher. So it was really just a hard few episodes to watch. So I kind of just like, I just fell off of it. I just wasn't, it didn't grab me. But I'm going to give it another go here this winter, and hopefully it picks up and I get back in the swing of it before the second season.
Yeah, the Clone Wars was like that too, the first couple seasons, but then later on, as it progressed, it did get a lot better.
Yeah.
Real quick, Lel, get your laundry?
Hell yeah, man.
Right,
and you know what? Here's the thing. She's watching too. I'm gonna blame it on Toya, because every single time we have to do a show, she always I'm like,
the dryer always goes off.
I'm doing Scoundrels tonight. And if you gotta time that thing well, like all the time, and she just does it so everybody can crack jokes. I think that's why she does it, man.
Doesn't the dryer usually have like a silent?
No.
To go off?
It's a loud beep.
No, man, it's just like this loud, stupid beep. I hate it. I was like, man, and sometimes when it's quiet, I miss it. And I'm like, oh, damn, now out of nowhere, I hear this beep. I was like, yeah, let me go back and get that shit.
Hey, Toya, good to see you.
Yep, her fault. I'm blaming her.
That's our kid, man. What's up, brother?
I watched the Bad Batch as well. And, I've kind of became obsessed with Omega because she was just so cute.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't really do anything with her, did they, in season 1? So, she made some connections, like the bond that she's making with her brothers, I guess, or if you will call them that, was, interesting. And you did mention Fennec, Vinny. She did appear in the episode, but it seems like I couldn't tell whether Fennec was hired to find her and do something or to protect her. So I think it's very interesting to find out who is behind this. Was it somebody from, the world who said, we just got to make sure she's okay? There's something special about Omega, but they kind of presented her as if she's this special person, and we didn't really find out what we should have found out about her. So that's something else that I think they need to answer, in addition to everything that happens with the batch themselves.
Yeah, they're definitely you see where her character's going from just starting off all innocent, from her wanting to join in the crew, and you see the guys just kind of like take her under their wing, and it's good to see how they're training her up, and it looks like we're gonna see more of her next season, more matured in that. So that's gonna be interesting for sure. So that'll be cool. Best Car Kids in the house. What's going on, man? Cruising through space. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So I'm like way behind in the chat. Calvin, what do you say? Let's see what's up to everybody.
This is my best friend.
Google.
Yeah, it's my best friend. He's the guy who makes my models and everything. Hi.
Oh, that's awesome. You're all inspirations. My little brother's a huge Star Wars geek. Not judging. And he wants my carpentry skills to help him build a Halloween decoration for his front lawn in 2023. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for being here tonight. Appreciate you coming through here. It's going to be resembling a mix of K2SO, General Grievous, IG-11. We'll send you pics via our room, when it's completed. Yeah, send us pics. We're definitely looking forward to it. We'll have to share those on the show. Bad Batch next week. That's going to be cool. And shortly after that, we're going to have Mandalorian Season 3. That's actually dropping March 1st. Oh, my gosh, that's just around the corner as well. And there was a list of some of the writers that were on there. And, lo and behold, it's pretty much all Jon Favreau. But at the same time, we also have confirmation, or I want to say there's a confirmation about how many episodes that we actually have this season. So it looks like there's only 8, and I think that's been the trend.
Yep.
For the past couple of seasons. So, but as we can all see here, mostly everything is written by Jon Favreau, Noel Clore, along with Dave Filoni, with a couple episodes as well. So yeah, now we just got to see who's actually directing some of these things, and we'll see how everything goes, man. But
8 episodes. I hope they at least stretch it out a bit, man.
Yeah.
I hope
It seems like they have a tight story to tell if they got Johnny Fab doing all of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's do you guys really think that this is going to be the last season?
No, because they talked about from what I was told, they talked about a possible 4th season. But I don't know. I mean, it mainly depends on what direction that they go. It's gonna be interesting to see, man. 8 episodes in this. Like I said, I hope they just stretch out the episodes at least 45, or I don't know. Just give us longer episodes to kind of. I just hope it's not. I'd hope it's not Obi-Wan short. You know what I mean? To the point where it feels like it's short. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean, the last season, the first episode was pretty lengthy.
Yeah,
I'm sure we could probably expect something like that for the first one. I mean, given if it is indeed the last episode of the series, I'm sure they're going to start off with a bang, with a nice lengthy episode. So we'll see, though, man. We'll see. But I'm definitely excited for this, guys.
I hope it's not the last season.
I know. I know, Arun, that it's not. I know you want more, but I'm sure we're going to see. Do you guys think that we're going to see Grogu with, with the helmet and with the chainmail and possibly some sort of jetpack, just flying around everywhere? I know Rita would want to see it. I know you'd be totally down for that.
Well, I want them to have respect for Grogu. I think they've had respect for a lot of the characters in the show so far, and we don't want to see Grogu doing things that he's not ready for. So there has to be the balance. I mean, he's going to live to 900 years. He's not ready for a lot of stuff, but he certainly is being exposed to things that I think maybe he wouldn't normally be exposed to. Yeah. So there is that. And, the other consideration is, what role he's going to be playing here. I always thought he was going to become like an advisor or something and maybe not have to take up arms. It's not that I don't want to see him do that. I just think he's too young to be doing that right now. And he's tried to do it before and he hasn't really done a great job because he's just too young for this. Maybe when he turns 100, he can start to think about, doing battles, but he's just trying to survive right now. And I don't see him maturing to the level he needs to, or even having the skills he needs to just function as a normal person. So I'm worried about him in that regard. I think he needs, Luke needs to kind of continue that training. And while I am happy to see Grogu, the $64,000 question for me is, it's like, you can't top that last episode from season 2. So, it's like, are we really going to learn more about the Mandalorians? Because we've kind of scratched the surface. Clone Wars gave us so much good Mandalorian background. And I want more of that, because we know how rich this culture is with the different clans. And, I think there's so much more to be told and to be understood, because there's a lot to the backstories, especially to Bo-Katan. Like, what has she been doing all this time? What has she been going through? This lady is a communicator, and she wants everybody to know when she's there and that she wants to lead. So, she's put herself out there for everybody to ridicule. And how did the other Mandalorians feel about her doing this? This is something that I think a lot of people would say, well, I wouldn't have messed up things as bad as Bo-Katan has. So, this is something that she has to deal with. And of course, the betrayal, I'm calling it a betrayal. Maybe it's not looked at it that way, towards her sister. It's essentially a betrayal. You're supposed to support your sister. Even if you had different political views, maybe you wouldn't be fighting against her, like in war or something like that. Maybe you wouldn't do that. But, that's what happened for them. And it's a tragic situation, but that's got to, have some kind of effect over her. When it comes down to it, if they have to make decisions about who is the best leader, regardless of who has the Darksaber, I don't know who else is available to lead, who even wants to, take the realm here. So this is something to think about. And, with Din going through this fantasy, and I'm going to call it a fantasy, because he's still quite in the dark with things. Like, he doesn't know a lot. And, it's amazing how he's kind of almost tripping over information that people aren't giving him. At this point in season 3, I want to see Din to be somewhat more informed and making decisions that are best for him now, going forward. It can't be where he's like, another discovery. It's like, I don't know whether we could really believe that. He has to mature at this point and take charge in his own life. He's been he's got direction from the armorer, and it has been wonderful to see what the armorer has revealed. But we need to see Din step up now and develop into a character who's able to figure out what he's going to do now. So I don't want to see him kind of aimlessly going from, objective to objective. This needs to be somewhat more strategic from him. He's perfectly capable of it. This might be the biggest challenge of his life. So let's see that. Let's see that challenge going forward. And I have my thing that I got here.
Ooh, look at that. Nice.
My light is reflecting in it, but it's big.
That's fine. This is the way. Look at that.
Yes, indeed.
That's awesome. I like that old, that vibe.
The retro wave look.
Retro wave. Yeah.
So I want to put it on the light board and light it up, and I want to see, just amazing things from the two of them. And yes, they could. This is a debate that I have.
Spin off, yeah.
But this is something to think about. I think we all want to see these characters grow, don't we? And that's how you get this depth of story. Yes, I do. But that's okay. I think that he has a time and a place. And when we see him using his abilities, it needs to be something special, something that's appropriate for, his species and his development.
It's going to be kind of nerve-wracking to see what they're going to do with him, because like you said earlier, he's too young to be, getting caught up in any type of like,
it would have been nice to have him with Luke for at least a portion of the season to do two things, to let Grogu learn enough skills that he can defend himself, where he's not just constantly an NPC, or he needs to constantly like on a escort mission every single time, where they're constantly worried about him. And two, for the showrunners to see just how well the show does without him. It would have been a great litmus test to have at least 3 of the first 3 episodes or so without him, so they can look at the numbers and see whether or not they can do without Grogu on the show, so that they're not like kind of handcuffed to him. And it's very, very weird decision to have reunited them on another show. It's going to be so bizarre, because like if you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, he's going to be right back with Grogu, and it's going to be like, wait, what? When did he get back with him? Not that there's that many people with that disjointed from the other shows, but it's a possibility, because if you you might only want to see Mandalorian and not wanting to watch Book of Boba Fett because you don't care about,
or what if someone didn't make it long enough to actually finish, the show to see that?
Yeah, exactly. That too, because it was a chore to get that far to see, those episodes. And
you're not kidding, dude.
And I hope they discuss his biology, because I'm still having trouble wrapping my head around how he's, 1/20th or whatever of his age in the end of Empire, and yet basically like a 1-year-old who isn't even talking yet. So it's going to be weird, like how old, it's a big deal is made out that Yoda is 900 years old. Okay, so did he not become a functioning, adult?
Actually,
you know what I mean? Was he not like, a regular, able to defend himself and talk and walk on his own till what he was 300, 400, 500? And you know what I mean? That's a big difference, because how many of those years were you versus a child? It's something that I hope they explain. And I think that maybe Tales of the Jedi having Yaddle in it, maybe that kind of hints that we might see more of his background, or an explanation of how long it'll take for him to be able to talk and defend himself. And, because right now it's like, obviously you can't have him be just a regular character on the show in our lifetimes if they do it, 1/1, you know what I mean? Like he's going, this is a character that they're not going to, I doubt that they're going to age him up quickly, because they're not going to do like Groot and just have him molt and be like a teenager
suddenly
Yoda.
Just grow.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's very, very, it's kind of like a weird problem that they have. It's a good problem because it's still a cash cow, but it doesn't biologically make much sense to our, understandings of any other creature we know on Earth.
So then that's either going to be a lead to either season 4 or another spinoff with just Grogu, by himself and just learning.
Animated.
Because if you age him up to where he's like a teenager or an adult Grogu, right? That puts you like 100, 200 years in the future with none of the other characters in canon. So that's a tough issue. That's a tough problem, because all the other legend stories, it's all past stuff. There's not too many stories that in the far future. So
weird. I think with this though, because it could be definitely this season could be like a 2-part. You know what I mean? It can be season 3 and then season 4 is the second half of whatever. It could be that way. Me myself, when it came to Grogu and Den's relationship, we kind of saw, when I go back to like the Book of Boba Fett, you know what I mean? When again he decided that he wanted to leave Grogu with Luke for training. I think that was more of an opportunity for Den himself to find himself. Like I think that he still hasn't found out who he is, you know what I mean, as far as his potential, his fullest potential. We saw a hint of that, even his leadership skills when he, did go back to Tatooine, and when he did actually help out, Boba and Fennec, to kind of help liberate Tatooine itself. I mean, it was one of those situations where we saw that, but then you threw Grogu back in the fray, and he became dependent again. Like it was one of those situations where he was just more protective over him, which again might have slightly lost sight. I felt as though that, again, always felt as though maybe Grogu, we should have took some time off from that to give people time enough to miss the character even more.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yep. So then if you completely, if they would have went like, say, for instance, the entire season 3 without him, if you're doing a season 4 and then we actually bring him back, it makes more sense, because like I said, he has more responsibility now. You're carrying around a Darksaber. You're now, living, with the, responsibility of the simple fact that you removed your helmet. You're not really considered a Mandalorian, at least from your tribe standard. You know what I mean? So now you have to go back to Mandalore, kind of, again, you're finding a well, to replenish, do whatever. That's a large responsibility. You're carrying a Darksaber now, so that, the person who has that saber is, considered, the rooter, the leader, at that particular point. But then you have also distinction between you and Bo-Katan. So a lot of that kind of plays in a role, but now he has all of that, and also now the responsibility for Grogu once again. So I just think that there should have been opportunity to kind of like space that out, give Grogu a bit more. I would have loved to see Grogu come back, you know, maybe at the end of season 3 to kind of help out. That sets up season 4. You know what I mean?
It has,
right.
It has the suits all over it. Like, no, put him back in.
Yeah, put him back in. I mean, even like, you know, as much as they try to like say it wasn't saving grace for Book of Boba, come on, man, it was. Like, you put that in there because even you probably saw potential for this show not to be what it is if you didn't have those 2 episodes. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, sometimes you got to kind of, you know, take a risk, you know, learn it, see how it would actually fit without this particular character, and give people time to miss that character. You didn't give that space. It wasn't that opportunity to really have that miss, that draw, and for both characters to find their potential. You know what I mean? For Grogu to learn who he was, and then we could actually probably even learn more of his backstory of who saved him from Order 66, stuff like that, in a separate story. You know what I mean? And then have Mando handling what he is. That's the thing, is like, if there's a missed opportunity that we don't find that out and they take too long, that's why I'm like, you know what? Come on, man. But I just think that, again, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the direction and I trust, you know, Jon Favreau and, you know, Filoni. I trust their direction and where they're going, but I just think that there's opportunity to go a different route as well. And we just have to see, you know what I mean?
And you make a good point, but then I'm sorry, because that's essentially what we saw in the Bad Batch season 1, is that Omega, we didn't get that information. And now Grogu's kind of like back at that point again.
Yeah.
Where, you know, now it's like, well, what happens now? And it feels not right timing. They didn't really give us any indication what was going to happen. All we saw was them kind of right off in the sunset super fast, you know.
Yeah.
At least if we knew, or he got a message, or you know, like, let's say in the ship that said, I need you to come to so and so right away, and then we go, oh, something's happening, you know, like,
yeah.
You need to understand, but we weren't given anything, so we really don't know, and it feels weird, you know.
Yeah,
it definitely does. And it would have been really nice to see, you know, the amount of time that whatever passed in season 3 for them to be reunited, and then, you know, reunited with the Grogu that can now defend himself, instead of one that barely got a chance to start, you know, learning what his training. And it would have added to it if he had an ally, as opposed to, you know, someone that he had to constantly worry about being in danger all the time, when he has so much other shit that he's trying to do to further his journey. You know, he has to go to Mandalore and learn about, you know, his past and what to do with the darksaber, all that. And meanwhile, he constantly has to protect an infant. It's a lot. They had it out and they ruined it. Not that it's, you know what I mean? Not to say that it's not going to still be enjoyable. I can't wait for season 3, but it would have. I felt like they missed an opportunity for a different way to tell that season story.
Unless for some reason Din just has to take him back to Luke for a little bit, you know, just to babysit him or something like that, or if he finds Ahsoka or something. They could possibly do it. I mean, the chances of that happening isn't really likely, but I mean,
it's just like that. The opportunity from season 2 is like that moment, like literally, like, we don't want moments to be taken away. The moment that we saw at the end of the season, I don't care who you are, you can be a grown man, a thug, whatever. That scene was emotional, and you teared up when you saw, you know, Dan take off his helmet, and, you know, but that was a teary moment. Like, everybody saw that, was like, wow. So when you do that, but then you basically see them back together, it's just like somewhat, it makes that moment sort of meaningless. Like, it's not meaningless, but not as important as it was, and not as impactful. And that's why I was like, you know what, if you give us that reunion in like a season 4 or at the end of season 3, then it would make so much more sense to that moment. Like, I don't want to whitewash that moment away, especially it was important to Den himself, because I think he needed to go on that journey. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
It could have accentuated season 4 as opposed to saving Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, definitely.
Real quick, FBJ's in the house. Just want to say what's up to FBJ, and also Benjamin E. Green's in the house saying happy Thursday evening, family. My apologies for being late, just finishing up the conference call, but happy holidays to all, bro.
Benjamin E.
I need to apologize, man. I mean, just happy that you're here to be able to catch us live, man. If not, hey, the replay is always there for you guys.
Benjamin E. Green, bro, when he talks to you, because if he talks to you behind the scenes, if he sends you a message, he reminds me, and I don't know people who remember the show, the way he talks reminds me of Hawk from Spencer for Hire, man. Like, he talks in that, like, very, you remember that, bro? Like, Hawk talking like really smooth tone riddles, bro, but it made sense. Like, straight up, like that was the show. That's what Benjamin E. Green reminds me of. Hawk from Spencer for Hire, bro.
Also shout out to Dylan Compton. Says catching the stream late. I think this is what you were talking about. I just like the return for Grogu and the Mando to the status quo. in a different show. It was like CW Flash, getting married to Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen?
Like he's talking
Trouble
about
Dust.
like it's the dichotomy, like being married, like the characters like can't never separate because it's like it's always you want to bring them together because you think. And again, cash cow, we always talk about that. It sells. That's why you see like even with the Hot Toys figures, there's so many Grogu's just floating around. Like if you get a quill, you're getting a Grogu, a baby Grogu wrapped up. If you're getting, what I mean, this is the way it is right now.
Yeah. How you doing, CC? All right?
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna say is, I watched Avatar today because I saw the sequel last week, and it kind of reminded me that I think Din Djarin or Mando is very similar to Jake in the first Avatar, where he's just like thrown into the mix and he doesn't know like up from down as far as the culture goes, and it takes him finding something that grounds him, which is like Natiri, to kind of like basically like set him on a path, right? And I think that Grogu is that for Mando. But I agree with everything, and I feel like a broken record because we've talked about it a lot. But like, I think that my only issue with Mando is I think we missed a lot of opportunities to see him as like a true badass because he was babysitting Grogu. And so I liked that with Boba Fett, we did see him like straight up murder people. So I'm just worried that he's gonna like stick Grogu in the Naboo starfighter and crack the window, which is not okay. But I also don't want it to be like we were saying with a lot of the episodes where he ends up finding someone to watch Grogu while he goes on this side mission. It's like no more side missions. I want like the mission, and I'm hoping that the mission in the new season is like basically him battling it out with Bo-Katan. And we end up learning more about the Purge and about what happened to Yoda with Grogu with Order 66. And I'm hoping just to connect everything that we do end up hearing about Ahsoka more, or Thrawn even, to kind of give us a taste of the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, I think we might hear something in passing, regarding that. But at the same time, there's a lot of rumors and news actually involving the Ahsoka show, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, Blue Tattoo's in the house. What's going on, Blue? Good to see you, my friend. And yeah, great discussion, guys. I definitely agree with everybody's points. But at the same time, I'm really excited to see, Mando's journey, to redemption. If he's actually going to find the waters of Lake Minnetonka, and just dip himself into it and just come out, completely redeemed. So, oh my gosh, that's going to be great. That's going to be great. Moving on. So, the Acolyte, we've talked about it a couple times, and we've got some new developments. They're shooting right now, and we've actually got some set leaks, by the way. So we'll go ahead and show these to some of you guys. Vinny, brace yourself. I hope you're cool with this.
All right, I'm standing by.
But yeah, we got a few leaks here of we have no context as to anything in the story here, so we can only just see things and just possibly get excited, for the actual show itself. But we do come across a few Jedi here, just randomly walking along in the woods. This particular Jedi we're looking at is Lee Jung Jae?
Yeah.
Lee Jung Jae?
From Squid Games.
Yeah. From Squid Games? Okay, yeah. There we go. So here she goes right here beyond some trees and just walking through the woods. Now, here's Daphne King, Leo. This is her.
That's her?
This is supposedly Daphne King.
Wow.
Well, according to this, so next we have Daphne King in the Daily Mail that claims to have been spotted, as a character below. So here's.
I'm looking at her and I'm trying to see if I see the resemblance. If that's her, it doesn't look like her.
Or could it be a stunt actor?
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe, I don't know, but there's something there.
I don't know.
It's very interesting. Look, it's like Rogue with cornrows.
Yeah.
Why can't I close this damn photo? There we go. There we go.
It looks more like Daisy Ridley, really.
Does it? You think so?
I mean, it's not her, but it looks more like her than
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of these, there's another rumor about that. I don't know if you guys heard about. We'll see if we can like talk about that later.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that, bro. We definitely gotta talk about that.
Yeah. So we also take a look at Dean Charles Chapman as a Jedi Padawan. Yeah, check out that hair. You know, got the Padawan braid and everything.
Wow.
it's like Justin Timberlake.
A little bit, man.
Wow.
And then here you go. Here is your Jedi Wookiee.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
Harry
Oh,
and Henderson's.
straight up looking like Harry and the Hendersons. Exactly, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's what I was saying, man.
That's
Yeah,
Harry and
My man was like
Henderson's.
my man was like a Sasquatch, straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, bro.
But,
He
Hell
got a lot on his mind.
That shit's gonna be dope as fuck. I cannot wait.
A Jedi Wookiee. Can you guys imagine how that's gonna be? I mean, we
Whoa.
saw a trainee in the Clone Wars, you know, little
Yeah.
small young,
And then we're gonna see it in the Bad Batch as well.
and we are gonna see the Bad Batch, the same
Yeah,
one. And here's
that's what we
again, big old thing, just roaming around the set.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but again, yeah, I'm excited for the show.
Horrible
I really am.
security.
What's that?
Horrible security. Because they look like they're on a set there. It doesn't look like. Yeah, it looks like a closed set. So they got
Somebody
Well, Andor had
had-
the same problem.
they got some splaining to do, Lucy, because that doesn't look like somebody like they're filming on the street and just
Mhm.
got to
No,
deal with people
it's
taking
straight up on the
pictures.
set.
That looks like a leak from the
Is that
crew.
a Death Morian?
Someone was hiding in a Port John.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Lil? What happened?
It looks like we got a character from Dathmere right there, bro.
Yeah, possibly.
The Night Sister,
Yeah, it looks like
Possibly.
it could possibly be. I don't know.
Darth
Oh my gosh.
Mirian. Darth
Yes.
Mirian?
Yeah, Dathmarian or something like that. Yeah.
There we go.
Well, it looks like they're
She's just
definitely-
like she's about to say, "Motherfucker, why'd you take my
Mhm.
picture? Like,
Yeah.
Looking
why
straight at
did
the camera, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
motherfucker, what?
OG Mando's asking when does this show come out. I don't think we have an official release yet.
I
I
know
think
it's 2024.
2024, right? So yeah, we got a
Yeah.
while. You know, we got a while before this actually comes out.
They're carrying bow and
that.
arrows. I wonder what this is all about.
Well, I mean, we see Omega with a bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
let's go,
looks like it's
you know,
like colonial times Star Wars show.
hey, I'm all
But this
for it.
was before, Phantom Menace. So this was like a few years before.
Yeah.
Dude, she looks dope. she
Yeah,
looks
bro.
dope, man.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm really
that's-
interested in
that's
these
pretty
characters.
It's like Phantom Menace meets Renaissance Festival.
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
does.
Yeah, the
That's what it looks
costume
like.
design is intriguing. I'm really feeling it.
Yeah, lightsaber.
Yeah, and lastly, we see the last of the photo with the Daily Mail's cast as grass covered speeder bike. We don't have details about it. Look at that.
Whoa.
It looks like a little tractor,
Yeah,
Converted
looks like
to some
yeah,
sort of
looks like a
speeder
mower.
right?
Yeah.
But
Incredible looking.
yeah, I agree with you, Vin. I mean, the security on the set. I mean, come on, man. They're
Yeah.
not going to compensate anybody's phones.
Nah.
And they're clear pictures too, so that it's not like
Yeah.
they're some blurry, taken from 1,000.
It's sort of
yards
like,
away.
they want to say, you know what, let's expose this to just build the hype.
That's
But we'll let you pass.
exactly what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
exactly.
Yeah.
It seems
definitely.
like an organized leak. Let's leak it, see what people are thinking, so we can tweak shit that they bitch too much about instead of when it's too late.
Mhm, mhm.
On the topic of like Ren fairs or clothing, I read an article about the clothing for House of the Dragon,
Mhm.
and I thought it was kind of interesting because there's like a few YouTubers and stuff who just talk costume design, and they're actually quite disappointed with the show in that regard because they're like, it's set over 100 years before Game of Thrones. Why are they wearing the same shit that we would have seen in Game of Thrones? Like 100 years ago, over 100 years, like I think it's like 187 years between Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. 187 years ago, people wouldn't have known what blue jeans were. But yet, like in House of the Dragon, they're wearing dresses and they're wearing clothing that would look like it belonged in the same time period as Game of Thrones. So this is the first time we've seen something in this time where it is so far back. I hope that it's not like, oh, gee, this looks like the same sort of I think Jedi robes,
Mhm.
I think has a pass because that's something that it's not going to change with the seasons. It's because it's not a fashion thing; it's more of like a practicality thing. But I hope like the characters like this, like the kind of background characters, do look like they're literally out of a different time than what we've seen before.
I mean, we gotta stop taking things so seriously too. I mean, it's Westeros. It's in a different. I mean, who knows how culture is? I mean, maybe people can be stuck in like the same timeline over and over again to where there's very little that can change in fashion. When I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if
but
it's Jedi garb is always passable. Like we actually
traditional.
saw that.
Yeah.
Like traditionally, we got a chance to see that in if you played the game Knights of the Old Republic when that actually started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The garb was the same.
Yeah.
It was nothing different when that garb was just passed through. That's just just ritually the same. We didn't see that actually change, and actually, no, it didn't. To be quite honest, because it's
Not
still
really,
passed
not
down
much.
to Luke. You know what I mean? Like, we see that the only person who I guess abandoned that way so far right now is Rey. You know what I mean? Because we don't see her in the traditional Jedi garb. She's in her own iteration, who
Yeah.
she is at that
From a
moment.
certain point of view, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, unless we see changing, like they sort of suddenly change it at that point. But yeah,
Because that design's so iconic. It'd almost be like soldiers
Yeah.
said, let's stop wearing uniforms. That's not going to happen. So I don't expect the Jedi robes to look any different, but I hope everything else does look worlds in a way different than what we've seen before in the prequels.
Yeah.
If you look at history here on on Earth, there's not drastic difference between clothing, like say in the 8 or 900s AD to the colonial ages around 1800s, 1900s. It wasn't really until 20th century where clothing kind of drastically changed, at least for common people. But as far as like the royalty and the clothing was pretty much like roby dress type, English gear for people who had money. Anybody else just wore like tattered clothes and shit like that. So I don't think we'd see stuff that would really differentiate time zones unless they made them wearing rags, which I don't think would be as interesting for them. So I don't know. It's possible.
Sure. Let me address Benjamin again real quick. It says, El Professor and Mr. Rockwell, thank you so much for your comments and acknowledgments. But the real personalities that bring this family together are the souls of the panel and beyond. This guy is so much, man.
Bro, I told you.
He's an angel, man.
Straight
up. Sent from the heavens.
His new name is Hawk from Spencer Fire. That's his new nickname, Hawk. Straight up.
Thank you, Benjamin, for the kind words, man. I really, really appreciate it around here, man. Thanks for the support, too, bro. I mean, speaking of which, 51 in the chat. I mean, everyone here, thank you for showing up tonight, man. Hit that like button on your way in here, man, and on your way out.
If you haven't already.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just me, but everybody else on the panel as well. Got everyone's link in the description below. So, yeah, definitely take the time out. Look at Mickey, don't play it. Nah.
Mickey don't play that.
Mickey, yeah, the mouse is going after somebody for these leaks for sure, man.
Yeah.
I have a question about I know that we have Darth Maul and there's several iterations of Darth Maul, and he's a Darth Marion, obviously, in a figure and statues. But other than obviously, what's the name? I can't remember her name all of a sudden. But other than her statue, which is like a beautiful statue that they made of her, have we ever had a 1/6 figure of another Darth Marion? At this point, do we have another one other than Darth Maul? Do you think they're going to make one, since we have one here coming up? It would be interesting to see at least one other one.
What do you mean? You said a statue or
either a statue or a 1/6 scale figure? Because Darth Maul,
it depends on the presence. It depends on her presence in here. If there's the demand for the actual figure, if they make her of some level of importance, definitely, you'll see it. I mean, we got it from, again, Ventress. She was Darth Marion as well.
They also did Asajj Opress.
Yeah.
Asajj
Ventress.
Savage
Opress. Yeah. So like definitely. So again, if there's a level of importance for the character, if they make her importance in this, which I would definitely want to see, because we never saw. We somewhat did, but we never got a chance to see. No, we did, because I think there was a Darth Marion of Jedi on the council itself. I think we saw one. But again,
I
I don't know
think
because
that was somebody else's complete.
you think
completely, yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, it'd be interesting to see one in live action that's not a Sith. I would love to see something like that. I mean, that would definitely be something, or maybe one who's basically a Jedi but just torn between the Jedi and you know what I mean. That's always what I wanted to see. Someone who was at one time a Sith, who becomes a Jedi, who's still torn slightly. You know what I mean, like still trying to fight off, the dark side a tad bit, the allure of the dark side, whatever. And I guess we've seen that, but I mean, more like you dive into the story more so than anything. But I don't know. Again, I mean, if they basically give her presence, I definitely would get it. No brainer.
Yeah.
I would definitely get it.
Well, I'm really interested in this because the Darth Myrians can do things that it seems like other groups can't do with using the Force, and I'm just kind of curious as to how far they can go with that. Does everybody who becomes a Force user and is Darth Myrian, do they have to go through that kind of transformation? Can they, if they get injured, do they get repaired? Can they use the Force to do stuff like that? So what would the role of a Darth Myrian be, let's say, in that regard, at least in this context here for this show? But I'm really curious as to whether they're going to go a little bit farther with them, because they do have skills that are so impressive, with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, be interesting to see.
But it's not just for the Force too. I mean, on Dathomir, there's also the Night Sisters as well. So there's a little bit of a mix of the magic that they also have, which is also the whole idea of the mystic arts, is coming up, from what I understand, as far as some of the rumors that we're talking about.
Yeah,
and I heard somebody about I guess Palpatine was also trying to dip into that as well. So yeah, there's definitely something there. But
yeah, man,
yeah, it's really interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to the show.
Yeah, I can't wait, bro. It's definitely one of my most anticipated. It's just with the cast alone. How it's so far what we see, and they're shrouding. Now, mind you, I think a lot of these characters that we've seen so far definitely are supporting. Besides him, you know what I mean? Like, he's definitely playing a Jedi role, probably a more important role. But it's going to be interesting to see how they play this out. Can't wait.
Beskar Kid is Mars Brood. She was also a Sith that was like kind of like going both sides, right? Kind of like
yeah.
Had that struggle, with the light as well.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think that's her.
Thank you, fact checker Beskar.
That guy, right? Shoot,
fact checker Beskar all day.
Yeah. Can anyone on the show convince Orm to let my crew come build her cost-free display shelving compartments for this show, just to show off her great collection?
He wants to put my figures in the detolfs. I have like 8 or 9 detolfs that have not been. I have a whole bunch of shelves and assembled stuff that is not constructed, but I told him to hold off because I need to rearrange things in my house. So that's what he's like, you've got to display this stuff and show everybody. I'm like, it's not ready. It's not the right
time.
Cost free. That's dope.
Yeah, that's the connection right there. If I ever seen one.
Yeah, putting details up is nerve-wracking as hell. If you got somebody else to do it for you, go for it.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen if I tried to do it. That's why I kind of laugh at it a little bit. And I'm like, oh yeah, that goes in the display. Yep.
Yeah. The first, actually, you know what? True story. The first time I actually put a detolf together in my old apartment, I shattered it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that
when
I put up my first one. All I thought about was, damn, Leo broke his. I don't want.
Yep, shattered it. It just shattered because the thing is, you know how it is. Like, I mean, here's the thing is because they kind of got up to par over the years, because when you got them the first time, they weren't numbered. They were just in. You had to kind of figure it out. Then they started putting the numbers on the detolf so you know exactly what glass goes where.
Right.
And so I ended up in the very beginning, first round, I put the glass in the wrong place. It didn't get down, so I went to hit it down. And because it fit too tight, it just hit all through the carpet and everything. I was so pissed because the closest IKEA to me is an hour and 45 minutes.
Yep.
That was far. That is crazy.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah, so we also got another look at the just a quick preview look of Ahsoka along with the Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
A little bit of a tiny glimpse, or just like a little bit of a screenshot, per se. So I guess these photos were just shown in like a promotional trailer. Vinny will not show it, but just here's a quick screen grab of Jude Law, right?
Jude
That's
Law,
actually
yeah.
playing this
Yeah,
this
Jude
character.
Law, man. Yeah, hell yeah.
So, and then we've also got some extra rumors about about the show, some theories and speculation about what the show could possibly be about. But which actually has intrigued me a little bit more because I mean the fact that we're just seeing what is it, just Jude Law just basically hanging out with a bunch of kids in a sense, doing God knows what. I mean, yeah, I really didn't have any interest, in the show in particular until some of the news, that I saw recently, and yeah, there's another screen grab that I took for the thumbnail, and here's a look at Rosario's Ahsoka,
Yeah,
looking good as always, and
definitely
yeah,
can't wait.
I think another show that's gonna be like
Definitely
crazy. I think it's gonna be like one of their best ones coming out, for sure.
Yeah,
But
especially if what we hear, a lot of stuff that we hear is true, and because there's also even a rumor. I'm glad you brought up Daisy Ridley, her Rey character, because
yeah,
there's a rumor that this particular show can also possibly not rewrite but affect the outcome of the prequels. I mean, of the sequels. So I'm like, it's going to be tested to see how they do it, but I'm like, I don't know. We definitely got to see. But I mean, this is definitely one of my most anticipated shows. I mean, it gets the Beam Ren live action to get, we get a chance to see like the whole Ghost Crew, Chopper, everybody back together. Like and they did confirm that what is her name, Mary Elizabeth something. What is it, Mary something Elizabeth, whatever, she's
to play
Is it-
Hela Syndulla.
Yeah, she's actually
Yeah.
she's confirmed. So.
Hera, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Mando Ahsoka back to back is
That's gonna
real
be
true.
something.
It's
It's
just
crazy.
gonna be
true.
something.
That's gonna definitely be crazy, bro. But it's gonna break a whole bunch of pockets, especially
Let,
collectors.
let me
bitches.
let me deep dive. Let me jump a little bit forward, a little bit, because you were just talking right now about Daisy Ridley. She actually shared this little shout on her Instagram stories about her going back to Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Which supposedly was some sort of a lunch date or something
Visit,
like
said
that.
she was
or a
going
lunch
to visit,
meeting.
stuff like that. How many other characters have actually done that? Come on, man. Like literally,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but it's thank you, Trimble Dust, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, which is Ewan McGregor's wife and baby mama.
Oh,
Yeah, which it was crazy because Toya got a chance to take a picture of her at Celebration.
that's right. At Celebration. Yeah,
I
she
was
pulled her
mad as
aside,
fuck.
didn't she? She
I
spotted her
was
out.
like, is that her? And her bodyguard wouldn't tell me, but Toya knew exactly who it was. I'm like, motherfucker, why did you tell me who it was? Anyway, I think, again, come on, man. I don't want to make any type of speculations. And here's the thing, and I'm not going to lie. I'm unapologetic when I say this, and people look at me like I'm crazy. I loved Rey. I loved her character.
Sure.
And I'm just going to put that out there. I had no problems with the character. Mary Sue, whatever people want to say, I don't care. I love the character, and I loved her portrayal of the character. And I think that there was potential if the story is written right. If you do it the right way, it can have so much depth to it. So if she's coming back, or if she comes back, I'm welcome. I will welcome it with open arms, me personally.
Yeah, Rey was such an awesome character, and all the issues that I had with her story and the sequels, none of it was her fault. And I've said since they wrapped it that I would love to see more from her.
Yeah,
especially with better, organization and writing going forward with her. But she killed it. I mean,
yeah.
There's definitely interest out there. I think more than people realize for more her story being told, especially if with consistency and how they want to approach it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, can I share this with you guys real quick, because there on Star Wars Theory stream, who was it? I keep forgetting the guy's name that usually streams on them, but he kind of dropped a little bit of a little bit of a scoop, a rumor of some sort about them possibly getting together to do like the next trilogy is actually going to be taking place after the sequels. So
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to hear, your guys' thoughts real quick. But let me know if
Josh
you can
is
hear
my
this.
nerve, though. I ain't gonna front. Josh
Are coming
can y'all hear this?
back,
Yeah, I hear that.
and it's gonna be Rey. It's gonna be Poe. So far, John Boyega has said no and doesn't want to come back, and it'll also be Rose Tico. And so apparently these characters are coming back for obviously that next one, which we heard was already going to be sequel trilogy. But it's the last thing that like really kind of blew my mind. Okay.
There's more.
Like, there's more. There's more.
Oh.
So yeah, and we'll talk about the whole. I want to know everything that you think about all this, right?
Oh.
But here's the wildest part. So apparently, there are a bunch of movies sort of being worked on right now, right? Some people have been talking about this. There's like the David Lindelof movie. There's whatever movie they're gonna do next that's rumored to be the sequel one. You know, Taika. There's a bunch of like rumored movies, right? So they've been pulling sequel trilogy characters.
My bad. That was all the clip that I had. But anyway, so I don't know. I would just take this with the lightest grain of salt, the hugest grain of salt right now, because this is just. But it's hard not to think that this is a possibility, considering that we saw Daisy Ridley back at Lucasfilm and what could be possibly happening alongside with some of the rumors that we're hearing about.
Yeah,
Ahsoka with the world between worlds, and we saw what happened with Rebels when what Ezra did, in there. I don't know. I'm sure, Vinny, did you finish Rebels?
I finished Rebels, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So when Ezra actually pulls Ahsoka out, from a fight from Anakin, that just opens up all kinds of worlds of possibilities. And I think we kind of like, took that a little bit lightly, because it seems like they might be revisiting this, whether it be in Ahsoka, I believe, or I think in the Skeleton Crew. That's somewhat of a rumor going on right now. But if they do that, they just, like I said, I would hate for them to use that as some sort of like a multiverse type of crutch, or, hey, let's see if we can fix a timeline, or if we screw up something and the fans aren't really that positive towards it, we can always go back to that well and change whatever we want, and that's going to be our way out. I don't know how I feel about that.
The only thing that I would want to see. And here's the thing, like, I'm fine with, if they do it, I'm fine as long as it's contained within Ahsoka's story. And what I mean by that is, if it's contained in a space to whereas she's still dealing with, because listen, we all know, and they already know that Hayden Christensen is going to show up in Ahsoka. That was already announced. Yeah. It's already basically been there. If they keep it contained within her story to whereas she's just dealing with the loss of, not only someone who was her, her master at that point, but like was considered a brother, and there was a lot of love there between both of them, and a lot of regret, her feeling as though if she was there more, if she could have been there earlier, she could have stopped everything. She could have stopped him from falling to the dark side. You know what I mean? Just to see the temptations, that level of temptation in her to want to change the outcome of that, to see where it would go, knowing that she, won't succeed at that, but just seeing where she's going to go. Even knowing about the simple fact that she was pulled from that world herself, you know what I mean? I want to see it if it's contained in that. If it is a plot device to change anything else, I don't think it would serve the story or the narrative well, because you're then focusing on everything else that, again, there's ways that you can look. We've seen it happen with the prequels, bro. People hated the prequels, but now all of a sudden it's embraced by a lot of people. You know what I mean? There were people back in the day, people don't want to hear this, but there were people back in the day that didn't like Star Wars, that didn't like Empire, that didn't like Jedi. And there were people out there, it's documented. You can see it, it was talked about. But they came around and they love it now. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, let the sequels go through those trials and tribulations that all these other, movies have gone through. Let it basically go through a learning process where they, it has growth. People understand certain aspects of it and they want to see more. Just let it do that. But, and again, if they're going to continue on after the sequels, let it have its place. But I think for Ahsoka, it should be contained within Ahsoka's world. She's dealing with Ezra, basically, she's dealing with, the loss of, her master, her brother. She's dealing with everything that's going on after the Empire, everything that's going on around this time. So again, just let her deal with that. I don't want to see them try to course correct anything going forward, because I think those stories have to really serve their own purpose. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Is it going to be like, how she had the book, the Ahsoka book, and it was kind of like the first person? You got to hear what Ahsoka was thinking. As she went from place to place in the book Ahsoka, it was her, she was kind of speaking during the story. Or is it going to be with her interacting with someone? Because this could be a very lonely series if she doesn't have people to interact with. So,
I was assuming Ezra.
Yeah.
Would be that person that is on that journey with her, almost like, and I mean, this might be cheesy, but like almost like what was it, Ebenezer Scrooge, like Ghost of Christmas Past kind of thing. That being said, I will say I think the sequel trilogy has always been plagued by the what if. Like, what if this director wasn't fired? What if J.J. Abrams stuck with all three of them? What was it? Colin, is it Trevorrow? He released his script for what he wanted, how he wanted the sequels to end. So I think for that reason, it's always been. I don't know if this would like. I don't see it resetting anything that the sequels did, but I could see this kind of giving a little bit more. I don't want to say closure, but introducing characters that we actually did appreciate and seeing them in a new light, to kind of like maybe redeem the sequels. Because I do think that, you know, I don't think the actors should be plagued by what was just like kind of a convoluted story, a disjointed story. I think Adam Driver as Kylo Ren was like the best part of the sequel trilogy.
Phenomenal.
I'd love to see him again. So if they can do that kind of what if scenario and have it not be permanent, but kind of remind us of why we liked those characters in the first place, if we didn't even like the story that much, I'd be down for that.
Definitely.
So do we know that it's going to be Ezra with her? I mean, do we know who's going to be there with her yet? Or I mean,
we know
not necessarily.
The actual story. We know that we're going to have all the other characters, like pretty much like a revival of the Ghost Crew. But as far as the journey and where it's going, I mean, and where she's going. I mean, because if she's going back to that planet, then I don't know who's going to follow and until with her. You know what I mean? Who knows? You know what? To be surprised. Here's a theory. I can throw this out there. What if, and this is a big what if, I'm not saying that this is true or not. What if, in fact, everything that Luke wants to know about his father, she takes him there to see certain scenarios, to see how everything is, so he can pretty much understand what happened and where he could fail. You know what I mean? Like, this is what happened. And like, because I'm kind of just piggybacking off of what Toybox said. If she's seeing different scenarios and how they all end the same, that there's no redemption at that point because of the thirst for power. If she takes Luke back there with her and shows Luke that, hey, if this is what you're trying to start, if you want to start an academy, if you have, whatever, this is what you have to look at. I'm not saying that that's going to be the way it is, but that would be incredible.
I think it would be incredible because, they're almost willing them to meet again because that, that kind of thirsty, am I going to see you again thing isn't, I think maybe he sensed that he would see her again, but she can't tell him where or why.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. You know how it goes.
Possibly,
before.
Yeah.
It's like you can't say it because if you say what the repercussions could be something that you don't want them to be. So he senses that he's going to see her again, but she's not going to tell him where or when. And at least that would kind of satisfy that kind of awkwardness a little bit from that episode.
And it feel like the possibility that consider the simple fact that she is experiencing a level of regret from the loss of her master. What way to get that right is if you can kind of help his son, you know what I mean? Help his son in a way that, he, doesn't, stray from the actual path of where he's supposed to go and his truest potential. But at the same time, she shows him where the order failed and where he can help get it right. Even though she may not want to rejoin, she has her own journey. But to try to, to help redeem or not redeem, but to help his, I keep fucking, I'm just so deep in my thought. To help his son, so the sins of the father doesn't pass down to the son itself. Anakin's sins doesn't, pass down to Anakin. I mean, to Luke. That to me, would be something that was incredible. I'm not saying that that's going to happen because we're all speculating, but I'm saying that would be dope if we saw something.
But it makes sense because even though we know R2 has all that information and has shown Luke everything, it's a completely different perspective when you get it from another, let's say, living person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely love Kylo though. You're right, CC. Kylo's his story, his journey. Even like the thing is, I always said and I wanted from the sequels, I did not want him to remove his helmet into the third film. That would have been so dope if he didn't see that. Like, I just wanted, because bro, his character was just so dope. The arc was incredible, and I loved it. You know what I mean? Even though the choice of the last film, I was like, nah, but still, I loved it. I loved it.
We get back on track here real quick, man. So I came across this article over here from MakingStarWars.net saying that in the Ahsoka series, that Thrawn and Ezra end up in the new beyond or a new space. So this is supposedly where they disappeared to after Rebels, where the space whales actually took them. For a time after the events of Star Wars Rebels, I'm not sure whether or not if that's what the region is called, or if that's a shorthand of the title for settling. So the region is completely new and unexplored area for Star Wars universe. That differs, from what we've had in the books, in the comics. Mm-hmm. This region views and uses the Force differently, and how our existing Star Wars theories have been in the past. It also is implied that magic users in the Star Wars universe have been seen before, originate from this very place, and that we have seen outcasts from there in the past Star Wars tales. Both Ivana, who's that, Sankno and Deanna Lee, characters in Ahsoka have connections, to this local, to this locale in the Skeleton Crew. So this is where that's also kind of, connecting, with the Ahsoka show. But at this moment, they say that they have no hints, that either of these two characters could possibly be like either a Night Sister, other than playing, Harrison Dula. But let me remind you that we're talking about rumors here. And that being said, Lars Mikkelsen is also playing Thrawn with haunting red eyes and all. So they actually got the original voice character from Rebels to come back and actually play Thrawn. So that's going to be interesting as well. But for them to explore this new area that we've never seen before in Star Wars, I mean, like the article just mentioned too, is that this is possibly to where, some of the Night Sisters have, come from. So now we're going to start getting that, that fine line between Force users and now, and now I guess magic is going to come into play, so that's a little bit of interesting in here. And I'm also seeing, there's another article that mentioned too, that I guess that's where the Skeleton Crew actually takes place later on. They're actually trying to escape the Great Beyond.
It sounds like The Witcher meets Star Wars. That might be the genre that they're going for.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, what?
Could be.
It could be, man. But I mean, the article goes on to mention also, remember when we first heard about the Skeleton Crew, that the rumors were to take place in the High Republic era? Is I think wires may have been crossed, and someone heard that the new era, and it could be reduced to the High Republic, and the truth seems to be the new era and not a new era. So when the children of the Skeleton Crew grew up lost in space, we, the audience, think that they are lost, as they are. But most of our previous Star Wars knowledge of the universe will be irrelevant, as this is a new universe in the same timeline, reality, and continuity. So as they explore the universe, trying to make their way home, we are with them for the journey. In other words, if reality resembles that way, the way things sound at the moment, says, do not expect our new cast to explore the greatest hits of Star Wars in past locations. So that'll be, I think that'll be cool that we don't have to revisit, any familiar locations. They're actually introducing new worlds, new places, and this and that. But like I said, what I found interesting too was just the idea of this new sector that could be, that's really interesting to the whole Star Wars lore in the Great Beyond.
We've never seen before.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
It sounds like Lost in Space, literally. Like, will there be a robot that says Danger Will Robinson?
There's always a robot in Star Wars, man. Come on. Come on, man.
There has to be a Danger Will Robinson droid.
Yeah, possibly. Can I ask a question, though?
What up?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the sequels, in episode 3 of the sequels, wasn't it Ahsoka's voice that Rey heard as well?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But there's always speculation as to whether or not that meant she was dead, or just that was one of the many voices we heard
through the floor.
That did not necessarily imply, like, mind you, I think all of the other ones that we actually recognize, Qui-Gon, Kenobi, who are obviously gone. So I think a lot of people took that to mean like, oh no, by that time she was deceased. But I think that being a powerful Force user, I kind of took it to like she was calling on all Jedi, not necessarily all Jedi who've passed, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Because by that time, Ahsoka would have been how old? She would have been up in age. Because she would have been a bit older. Definitely. I don't know. That's interesting to really kind of figure out.
Well, she could have
like older than Han Solo, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, again, but her species ages again. Other characters where her species doesn't age as fast as as slow as it's she's slow. Pretty much her aging is slow. So 70.
Yeah,
about 70.
About 70.
Let's go dropping gems, my man. That's what I'm talking about. Fact check the bro. That's what I'm talking about all day, every day. But yeah, it's just interesting to see how if that would ever be explained. That would definitely be interesting.
Yeah, let me pull up something else real quick in regards to the Ahsoka series as well.
Is it true? And I'm sorry, Mario. Is it true that the Ahsoka series is supposed to be? And I think we did talk about this a little bit before, but the fighting sequences are supposed to be, like sort of
samurai.
Yes, is it true? I mean, is it still?
Yeah, definitely.
I hope so. That would be so cool.
Yeah, I think that there was a demand, but from one of our cast members or one of our panel members, they, hit up Filoni, was like, "Yo, motherfucker, please make that." There you go, Vinny.
So you're right. either samurai or wushu, or Chinese or Japanese, one or the other.
Yeah, wushu and samurai basically because it's a nice blend between both. The fluidity is there.
Yep.
So
give me wushu, give me samurai.
Yeah, it makes so much sense to do it that way, and that's pretty much the style. That's been like a lot of style. Kenti, all that has actually been a style. So yeah, definitely, man, definitely. I want to. You know what I mean? I want to see the fighting that we were supposed to be, that we were promised for Obi-Wan with the with all the Inquisitors, but didn't get. So yeah,
yeah, it wasn't enough, man.
But it also means that we're going to be seeing more weapons, right?
Yeah,
possibly.
Which and I'm wondering if we're going to actually see the magistrate. Wasn't she? She was in. I wonder if we're going to see her again. In this one, because again, she's gotten the information. Ahsoka needed that information from her, and maybe if she trusts her enough to take her, or just kind of go back to her, you never know. Or maybe we might see her punished by Thrawn for giving off the information. You never know.
Going back to this article real quick, there's another article here that mentions about how there's about Ahsoka being played, by 3 different actresses. I think we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
So the guy just says, during the production of Star Wars, that there was a code, for a particular character, but through the code that they were able to find out and confirm that Ahsoka had 2 different code names, and then there are also different errors within the timeline. So I guess we might see some flashbacks of a younger Ahsoka, and maybe around season 7 or Rebels Ahsoka, to present day Ahsoka. So that's pretty cool, I guess. That's going to be interesting to see. Some of that. I mean, I guess her character in live action. I mean, to be fair, I think we saw enough of her already in the Clone Wars, and I kind of don't want to see that. I don't think it's really necessary in live action. Although it's cool, it's just that I don't think the story needs to go there. You know what I mean? Because we've already Ahsoka in her different, in different times, through her life. In live action, because the animated series seems to like keep showing that over and over again in a sense. We just saw that recently.
To see her in live action
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it'd be cool, but I mean, I'm just curious to see how they're gonna
play it. Yeah,
how they're gonna pull it off. In live action, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna do flashbacks, or is this one of those world between worlds kind of things where we see like her in different portrayals? Without like Ahsoka, this is your life or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But at the same time, they've also said, in this article that they confirmed that Hayden Christensen is actually showing up, and they will be dueling also Vader multiple times, I guess. Ahsoka and Vader.
Ghost of Christmas Past.
Exactly, man. So again, it's just I well, as cool as all this shit sounds, it just sounds like we've already been here.
Mhm.
So is there really need to really go back and dip in that well again rather than just proceed with the story? I mean, it's cool speculation, for all this stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of at a crossroads because I wouldn't mind. Of course, I'd love to see it again, but I just don't think it's necessary to the narrative. But
Well,
I
and I
don't know how
think
y'all
Depends,
feel about
depends
that.
on where the narrative, where they're taking it though. Like if there's ties into something that's important, again, with her journey, because maybe it could even be her finding her way back, to the labeling herself as a Jedi, a way, or it could be one of those things where she's going, because again, like at the end of Rebels, we see her dressed in all white, more like we don't know where that aspect of her journey, how she got to that particular point. And this could be explaining that. Like this could be ways to really explain that she's taken pieces from everything that she's seen and really going back and just like reliving moments, really going back in her mind and her head, as a young, if we're going to have Hayden in there, of course, they're going to kind of relive all of those moments, everything
Mm-hmm.
that actually happened back then, from being a Padawan, from her first meeting and stuff like that. It doesn't have to go deep dive in it, but there's moments that are going to actually, it's going to, affect her future. And I guess that's why they got it there, so we'll see.
Well, and I think we take for granted the fact that we're crack addicts with Star Wars. In that, like, we might have say like, oh, we've seen this before. Like, do we really need a rehash? But I have friends who are diehard Star Wars fans, diehard Star Wars collectors, and they're like, "Who's Ahsoka? Why should I care?" Because they didn't watch the Clone Wars, they didn't watch Rebels. Those were, at least when they came out, it seemed like they were more geared towards children. So, and that's to the point where it's like, if we start season 3 of Mando and Grogu's reunited with him, I don't think it's going to be that much of a stretch for the audience, because they kind of did that with Ahsoka, where Ahsoka showed up, was a badass, name dropped this dude named Thrawn, and probably confused the hell out of a lot of people, but they just kept rolling with it. And I know on Disney Plus, I don't know if they still have it, but at one point they had like an Essentials of Ahsoka, where they got together like the more prominent episodes of her story, so that you could watch that to kind of be introduced to the character without having to catch up on Clone Wars, on Rebels.
Interesting.
So yeah, because like I know people who are, I wouldn't call them casual fans, but they have watched every single Star Wars movie. They've had their ear to the ground on rumors and scuttlebutt, but they don't know some of these characters.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Right. So I don't see a rehash of the world between worlds and some integral parts of her life. I don't mind seeing those in live action, because A, I think a lot of those scenes will be badass. B, it'll be a lot of people's first time seeing stuff like that, I feel like.
Yes, I think that it's a tricky spot for them, because a big portion of their fan base has seen these shows, but on a much broader scale worldwide, there's so many people who have never watched Clone Wars, and even if they knew that a lot of the Ahsoka, characters, past is set in that show, they go on Disney Plus and see that there's 8 seasons to watch, and they're like, I'll just see what they show me on the live action. I'm not gonna, sit through 7 seasons of this kid show to find out, the 5 or 6, moments that make her who she is, when they can just cherry pick those out and throw them in live action for us. And while it will be something that we've seen before, it's nothing that, ironically, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's like, yeah, we've seen it before. Hopefully they do something different, but we're always bitching about wanting to see Legends moments that we've read and stuff like that on screen, and we're pissed when we don't get it. So I don't think it's fair for me to be mad if we have something that we see in animated form rehash, because that's the same thing as comic book fans being mad that they did a Marvel or DC story based on how they did the source material, when that's always what we're clamoring for, do the source material justice and tweak it, but still, we still want to see those moments on screen. So I think we're going to see, several of the key moments of Ahsoka's past, and, especially the Anakin stuff on screen, because those are so, defining of who she is, and at the same time gets Vader on screen, which is a license to print money. So
And
of course,
there's no
man.
reason not to really
Yeah.
like, you know, the pros for it way outweighs the cons. You know what I mean? Like if they
Yeah.
if they literally just run, you know, certain Clone Wars episodes in live action to kind of retell those stories, I can't be mad, because it's just like it's letting the world know the stuff that, you know, like we've been in on for years, and it'd be really cool to see those moments in live action, even though we've already seen them, you know, in the
Correct.
cartoon
Yeah.
form.
And you know what? And I keep forgetting, like, you know, again, you know, with Hayden coming back, we could also see him, you know, as a Force ghost, you know, communing with her
Mm.
and having conversations with her, you know what I mean? And, you know, just, you know, helping her, you know, release that regret, you know, letting her know that everything's okay. You know what I mean? Like, there may not be that connection that he'll
That
have
closure.
with his son, but, you know, giving her the closure that she needs, and telling her this, it's okay to move on. You know, it's okay to move past all that, because again, a lot of, you know, what we see from her is regret. You know, we don't, they don't really dive into it, but there is
Yeah.
regret, because she's right now, in a sense, she's playing that loner role, you know, that role, like, where she's just a nomad on her own by herself. You know what I mean? So it would be interesting to see that, you know, that change. I'd love to see something.
I'd
like
be
that.
down to see that, man. That'd be powerful, just to
Yeah,
see,
bro.
like Anakin just giving her that closure, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
that'd
that
be
would
crazy.
probably be an emotional moment that they could dive in on camera. And if they do it right, like, that could be like literally iconic. And that would be something
Right.
incredible that I would love to see. Definitely, man.
Cool. Rita, what do you make of all this?
I hope we do see some Force ghosts. I hope we learn more about the Force here, because Ahsoka is supposed to be somebody who, I'm not going to say has a completely and entirely different interpretation of what it means to be a Force user, but she certainly is an outlier in all this at a time when people are on one side or the other. She's not doing that. She's kind of like, you know, this independent person who's, you know, traversing the galaxy, and, you know, uses her I guess her abilities in a unique way. She's deciding her fate in a way, almost. In a way, I think a lot of the other Force users are not getting the ability to do that. So, you know, she's perhaps the galaxy explorer now, and, you know, she's going to be coming across things that only she understands. We don't understand any of this stuff, because whatever she learned in the temple, all those years that she was in there, and all the stuff that she studied, and all of the masters that she trained under, have told her a ton of stuff that none of us know. So she's might be the most, you know, one of the most informed Force users in the galaxy right now. And so we have a lot to learn from her, because there's a lot that we don't know. So I hope we get those special bits of information that we need to see, so that this entire IP can grow, so we can go further and kind of understand, you know, what level and what depth the Force would mean, you know, even for somebody like Ahsoka, who I think, you know, is incredibly well grounded, but even she, you know, like, what is driving Ahsoka right now? This is something we just don't know. And it's fascinating. And, you know, she's not just an incredible Force user, but she's an incredibly kind person too. Because we've seen, you know, sometimes, you know, they're not so kind, but she is kind. And I think that that's going to, you know, maybe give a different feel to how people interpret Force users going forward. You know, you've heard that, you know, Force users were terrible people and they ruined the universe. But I met this Force user. She was great. You know, she listened to what I had to say, and she wasn't like that at all. So maybe this new generation of people, maybe she'll even change people's perceptions of what that means. So, you know, there's so much to think about.
This is why I'd even want to see a flashback to her trial, because technically she's the first person to turn her back on the Jedi Council, but not the Sith. Like, she turned her back on their way, but not to go rogue, but to go, you know, not to go evil, but just to go her own path. So she is so different in that aspect, because she has what made Anakin so special, you know, especially in Clone Wars, and that he had that passion and emotion of a regular human, with, you know, without adhering to the restraints that the Force, you know, that the Jedi put on them. And so Ahsoka was like this perfect mix of kind of like passion and control. And that's why Ahsoka is so special, because she has that. So her leaving the council after they betrayed her, but not going evil, you know, not turning that betrayal into hate is so important, and why she's such a special character. And I would love to see them touch on that too, because I feel like that counts. That trial is a part of Ahsoka just as much as anything to do with Anakin.
Yeah. And it just felt like, you know, definitely with her character, we know that his whole purpose with Ahsoka was to teach her to be better than him. Yep. Not only just as a warrior, not only as a Padawan or, you know, a future Jedi or Jedi Master, but just as a person, you know, as a character that is, you know, it's okay to have a certain level of passion, but at the same time, it's like not letting that passion overrun. You know, there were certain things that he was trying to show her, you know, and in a sense, he taught her to be better, you know, so only made sense for her to be formidable against him because she's the only one who knows him that way. You know what I mean? So again, it just makes perfect sense. That's why, like, when people talk about, you know, I used to hear this all the time, like even watching like Rebels, watching Clone Wars, you know, when watching that episode in Rebels, they were like, oh, there's no way that Ahsoka can beat Vader or destroy Vader. Yeah, but she can hold her own. Because remember, she knows certain things. She knows what he taught her, you know, what he's shown her. Yeah. You know what I mean? So again, like she could indicate, even though, like I said, we know he's going to be the dominant, no one's been able to best him. Well, I'm not going to say no one, but in that aspect of it, that way. You know what I mean? And, you know, again, we can tell that there was emotional turmoil even between him and her at that time. And it was hesitation. He didn't want to do, you know, half the stuff. So again, like seeing that aspect of her, you know, even like Vinny, like you were saying, like her walking away from the Jedi Order was her realizing that, you know, there was some, you know, that level of arrogance and there was some shortcomings that they themselves couldn't see. And they turned their back on one of their own. And it's like, yo, why would I want to come back if you can just do this to me again? You know what I mean? Like, I can't trust that. I can't trust that you'll actually see your ways. So yes, I'll step away.
You didn't even ask me my side. You just said,
you didn't. Nah. You didn't. And if anybody, I'd be pissed at Mace. I'd be like, man, fuck you, Mace. You know what I mean? Like straight up, like literally, like Mace didn't trust her like anybody. You know what I mean? So it was like, yo, like literally, like she was, you know, feeling that level of abandonment, but then kind of finding her purpose on her own. So, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely good points. But yeah, it's just incredible how much they developed a character that was pretty much universally hated in her debut to now a complete 180 where she's pretty much universally beloved now, you know, and where she's at, right? So kudos to Filoni for actually giving her that development, man. So
hell yeah.
And like, you know, like I mentioned before, Ahsoka's gonna be like one of my most anticipated shows from next year. So
it's my most anticipated fucking figure, man. Hot Toys, hurry up.
All right.
Come on, man. Come on.
So then what are you gonna do when they drop another one just for the Ahsoka show?
Buy it.
Okay, all right. You say that now, but let's see what happens. You're like, shit. I just got this damn figure. Then they just announced another one.
I can never get enough Ahsoka, bro.
It's gonna be Chrome Mando all over again, bro.
Bro, I can never get enough Ahsoka. That's what I did with Rey because I love Rey's character. I got every single Rey figure. I mean, Ahsoka. I'll definitely get every Luke. Of course, I have every single Luke except for the, you know, Fallen Boy Luke. When I don't talk about that, but you know what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if you have a love for it, why not? Let's go.
You know what? Let me take the time out, man. Let me go ahead and switch gears. Since you brought up the topic of collecting, man, I want to start spending everybody's money out in the chat right now.
Yep. Let's go.
And CC, I know you and I have got this on order, man. So I just want to show everybody here this bad boy that's actually shipping now. And
this Sideshow unboxing. Today we're going to be taking a look at.
Let me so I actually have this on order right now. Sideshow sent me a notice saying, hey, you want it right now? We got it early. I'm like, no, it's the holidays, man. I'm broke. I can't afford it right now. But holy shit, this came out amazing. I think this came out, you know, really, really damn good.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to pull the trigger on it myself.
Yeah.
Are you now? Well, let's watch this assembly, man, and see whether or not you make a live pre-order, my friend.
It is dope, bro. I mean, that thing is, I know I have to have it because I have all the other mythos except for Palpatine's. I didn't like that one, you know, so much. But
dude, I low-key kind of want that one now, man. I mean, after seeing everything together,
I can't still. I passed on it.
I totally get it.
Kucherk didn't have anything to do with it. The Kucherk brothers didn't have nothing to do with that, and you can tell. But this one,
to have the Kucherk continuity.
Yeah, definitely.
The Kucherk set,
It's like, so, you know what I mean? Definitely, if CC's going to buy it for me.
Oh, really? Look at that. CC's taking the weight off of my shoulders now financially. And
She's like, hell no.
Say what now? Say
Yeah,
what?
no, right? Say what? Hell
I
no.
think
you
my
have to
audio is messing up. I can't. You guys can't.
Technical
CC, you're
difficulties.
breaking up. What was that?
There's a lag. I don't. Everyone's
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
CC,
dope,
you still got this coming in?
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I know people talked a lot of stuff about the base and how it's not fantastic, but I think everything else makes up for it. It's funny, you can see the gold toes. We saw
I'm
that
fine
like
with it.
I
his
love
toes.
the base. That looks great.
It doesn't. So like that kind of like 90-degree flame does bother me a little bit. I've not seen anyone who's gotten this display the flame, the flaming lightsaber.
Yeah.
No,
For a
no,
reason.
no. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's that. But yeah, I still like. I think the cape for me makes it. I just love how dynamic it is. So I'm still very excited to get this in.
Yeah, they didn't. This cape is.
I have a lot of
thing.
battle damage Vaders. I realized
Are you still getting that bust?
the bust, the hot toy. Yeah,
Yeah, CC's getting all the Vaders. Can I say real quick? Shout out to my buddy Link the Jedi. I haven't seen my man in a minute. Dude, Link, thanks for coming through, man. I gotta get you on a show, bro. We gotta get you on here on Scoundrels, man. This dude is like, he's up there with Beskar, man. He's a fact checker as well, man. So my man Link knows his stuff. Always great to see him in the chat, bro. Great to see you here, but yeah, this is just absolutely gorgeous, man. I was gushing over this thing when I saw the assembly, and even when we saw it at Celebration, it just had so much presence, man. And speaking of Celebration, what's up, Spice? My man, Spice is in the house. What's going on, bro? Good to see you here, bro. And yeah, I can't wait to get this one in house, man. Look at that cape, the way that it just. I mean, it's not as good as Autumn's hair just billowing in the wind like that, but I mean, it's still got the same presence, though, man. You know?
They use that for inspiration.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you guys. I love that.
But damn. Also, too, the fact that it also has a swappable Hayden sculpt, which looks pretty damn good in my opinion. I mean, the likeness, sure, you can argue about the, how accurate it really is, but I think just the short presence alone is just incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, look at that.
Amazing.
I think that's definitely how I would actually pose him for one.
Like this?
One Vader, exactly.
he
like
looks
this.
like I came here to wear my helmet and fuck shit up, and I lost my helmet.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
With
doubt.
this flaming lightsaber.
Yeah.
As he does it. Look at that. Yeah, this particular piece wasn't everyone's favorite. And like, I totally get it, but I appreciate the extras, man. I mean, that's cool.
I love it, bro.
Well,
I love it.
You mentioned the holidays. Like, if anyone's on the fence, like, no rush on this because they're making like 11,000.
11,000. That's
11,000
crazy.
pieces.
Between the exclusive
Exactly.
and the standard release. That's
So
insane.
it's definitely going to be around. That's why, like I said, I had it on pre-order and I canceled it because I was, I know how to get it.
Dude, it was on Sideshow Seconds for like $500, man. The only thing was just the box damage, and that was it.
Yeah.
So,
See.
like, jeez.
Or points. Use
That's
points.
pretty wild.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be incredible. I can't wait.
But, definitely. Cece, did you see all the new Hot Toys that came out? Particularly the Anakin and the Padme?
Yes, I think the Anakin head sculpt to me looks fantastic.
That's incredible what they did.
I think they nailed the likeness of Hayden Christensen at that age. The Natalie Portman, it's weird. Like, I think the purrs has a lot to do with it because there's been some angles where they've moved her eyes and it doesn't look like her from like here up, basically like the eyes. Like, I think the nose, the lips looks like her, but there's something with the eyes and some of the angles I've seen. I don't think it's 100%, but I think that's just their photography. I think in person, in hand, it's probably going to look a lot closer to her.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel everyone who's disappointed that, like, I think it looks more like her when she's looking away.
Yeah.
versus when she's looking straight on.
Kind of like right here.
A lot of people were like, it looks like sort of like Millie Bobby Brown in certain angles.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean? But there's like when you go to certain pictures, it it looks different.
Not
Like
that
you
one.
can actually see her. Like there,
That
you can
There's
slightly
a
see
good
her.
one.
Yeah, like you can slightly
Yeah.
see her. But the likeness, you can see where it's trying to take shape, but it's not completely. And that's what I was saying. Like a lot of people said, it's like, nah, this is a 10 out of 10. I'm still getting it, but I mean, I know the head sculpt is not a 10 out of 10 for me. You know what I mean? So.
Sure.
Well, and I feel for everyone who's like, why didn't they do the like bloody battle damaged outfit? But I do question if a custom company could do that. I'm not a big 1/6 scale collector, but I'm wondering if someone would do that.
Yeah.
I hope they do. I want all the outfits. I want the wedding outfit, the one where her back is closed, the black outfit, one where they're rolling around in the grass. I want it all. I want all those things where they're sitting at the table and he's like levitating the screw chip. I want all those outfits.
Rita, there's a custom statue company that's doing Queen Amidala on throne.
Yeah.
She's in the dress with the lit up pods at the bottom and the white makeup with the But they haven't opened it for pre-order yet. I guess they're making some final changes.
Yeah, these two look absolutely incredible together. They did an amazing job with hitting. I mean, look at this.
They're getting baby hair, bro.
Yeah, completely sculpted baby hair, man. I mean, look at that. That is crazy. That's an insane amount of detail. I mean, not just the baby hair, but I'm talking about like the likeness too. They actually nailed it.
The likeness, bro.
That's Hayden.
Yeah, it's definitely Hayden
through and through. So
I love it. Even like I said, I mean, because I think we were talking about this, Mario, where we didn't recognize the cloak. Like I was like, damn, like I forgot all about it. Yeah.
They actually nailed the accuracy here, where it's actually the cloak is like where the arms are at, are split through right here.
Yeah, like that's the actual cloak that he wore when they were, undercover. You know what I mean? Definitely when they were going to Naboo. So yeah, that's dope. I like it, bro.
Yeah, Vinny, we spend your money yet? You tempted to pick anything up yet?
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, this was an amazing release.
Yeah, it definitely was, bro. And we get an Anakin with an actual right hand before it was severed. That was dope.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate that, right?
Gotta appreciate
the little things, man.
Definitely.
But
things.
Yeah, Hot Toys did an amazing job. With those.
Hope they'll go forward and give us that dark side Anakin again. I gotta get that, bro. I need that.
That might be coming. I think that definitely might be coming.
Hopefully.
Yeah, notice the marks. Notice the sand marks on Annie's robes. Really? You see, this is what I'm talking about. Link notices all these little details that I had like no idea that was there, man. So there's a little nod to how much he hates sand. Quill is the figure of the year. Dude, that came out good too, man. That Quill
definitely did come out great.
Quill, yeah, Quill looks incredible. I want to just catch up with the chat here. We got here. Chuck G says it's fire. Yeah, guys, I think we're good. Unless anyone else has anything else that I may have missed that they want to talk about.
Just that everybody should hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if they haven't.
Yeah, absolutely, all 60 of you in here, man. I really appreciate that. I mean, not just subscribe to the channel here, but subscribe to everybody that's on the panel. Again, all the links in the description box below. Yeah, go show everybody some love, man. Everyone here is making some great content.
Can I say something art print related?
Of course, please.
So, and I don't have a picture if you want to bring a picture up, but I know I showed it on Uncivilized Scoundrels because I think Brendan messaged me that he got this art print because I'd mentioned it on the show. So I know some people were at least paying attention.
Rogue One?
Yep. So the Rogue One by Chris Valentine. I can't say what show it is because I feel like that would be cheating. But Chris Valentine is doing he's calling it like a portrait series with maybe 2 portraits of characters from a somewhat recent Star Wars show that I love.
Really?
And I'm very excited.
Okay.
Let me show y'all. So this is the actually CC actually got me to pre-order this one live. Also, I still have it sitting right here in the tube. I gotta get it framed, but this is the print by Chris Valentine that she's talking about.
Yeah.
I can go ahead and zoom in a little bit. It's a gorgeous. It came out so good. This thing.
Yeah, dope.
And me.
Yeah. So if you like that artist and his style, so he normally does 24 by 36. I don't know the size of these new ones, but ever since the show came out, I've been like, we need art prints. I will say it's not Kenobi because I said a bunch of that about like it took a while for us to get Kenobi prints, and I was hoping that this show, which in my opinion was a lot better than Kenobi, I hoped that they were going to come out with art prints sooner rather than later on something like that. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Well, Benjamin says that something tells me that Hot Toys has a full Hayden Christensen / Darth Vader head sculpt. I think we're going to see that. I think that we're going to see another version of Vader, without the helmet, like, just fresh out the back to tank. That'd be dope. That would be dope to see. Yeah, Jason, my man. Once I saw was in the house, damn, that's fire. Yeah, that's a beautiful print. Peyton 23's in the house. What's up, man? Thanks for coming through. Really appreciate everything. Everybody coming through tonight. OG Bando says it's amazing. OF Skywalker. Yeah, I was there that stream. It was an amazing work. Did you get it? Did you actually pre-order it? Just curious. But yeah, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap right here. We've gone about an hour 45. I think it's yeah. This is a fun show tonight, man. This is the last show of the year, and it was great to get everybody together, just talk Star Wars tonight and all the potential stuff that's coming out, next year and and beyond. So, guys, it's been a fun year. Just talking Star Wars with y'all. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate everybody here on the panel, everybody out in the chat. Again, I got everybody's links below to their respective channels, to their respective IG pages. Everybody give everybody a follow and give them a subscription. And yeah, thank you everybody in the chat for joining us tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you as always. We out of here. Everybody have a safe, happy, blessed 2023.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody. We'll definitely see you guys next time. Until then,
the Force will be with you always.
So uncivilized.